Josiah, you're up.
All right. Thanks so much, Scott. My question for you, Paul, is you talk about offense versus defense. And when you're talking about defense, like in the game of football, just getting aligned on defense is the most important piece. Like everything is reactive. If they do this, we'll do this. And when you look at offense and you talk about decisiveness and action over outcome, like that's, I'm going to dictate, right? I'm going to take control. I'm going to own this and I'm going to go. And so my question to you is, how do you dictate, take control, move to action while also not having that moment where your boss tells you like your team doesn't know how much you care about them? And so how do you balance this action and decisiveness while protecting the integrity and executing emotional intelligence with the people that you need to deliver those results?
Yeah, love it, love it. And I've been asked this, not what you just asked, but the first part of the offense versus defense. And people say, "Well, Paul, but then defense, it's all reactive." And I say, offense is a mindset. Defensive players, even in football, like you attack like it's offense, even though you technically have to react. And I think defense is probably a better metaphor for real world life because I do not have control. If you do control, can't control, and influence, the biggest pot is influence. There's very few things in life you fully control, and there's very, very few things you fully don't control. But influence is this big ocean in the middle. So to answer your question about this, here's a cultural principle that I often teach, but it rocked me initially because I was one of those that thought that all culture is a top-down thing. It's a top-down. Show me a great C-suite, I show you a great culture. Show me a toxic C-suite, I show you a toxic culture. I thought that's the way the world worked because that's what I was exposed to, and so we'll leave that at that. But then I end up consulting for one of the top airlines in the US. They've got 120,000 employees, 6,000 positional leaders, and over 2 years, I did training workshops with all 6,000. So people in my network that knew I was working with them said, "What's the culture of the airline like?" And I said, "Tell me who the leader is. Tell me what location. Tell me what department. Tell me what floor of the building. That's the culture." Because when I would visit headquarters, floor 5, they were high-fiving. Floor 6, shh, watch out. Boss is around the corner. And to all my outliers out there, floor 5 and 6 weren't just the same airline. They were the same department, but a drastically different weather system. All culture is local, down to the floor of the building, down to the individual. So when you and I walk in a room or we hop on a Zoom meeting or whatever we do, we either warm it up or we cool it off. The question is, are we aware of our own temperature? And when you are, and when you intentionally choose warmth every single time, that's how you own your weather system so you can own your life. And so you ask the question, what do I do when my boss or the culture, which, brother, that's real. I've been in more environments where I learned more of what not to do versus what to do. That's how I can honestly describe my past. And if that's the case, I always had control of my weather system. And as soon as I was aware of it and mindful of it and intentional about it, choose warmth, choose positivity, choose hope, choose belief, choose optimism. Even though everybody else is playing defense, I can choose offense. I can own my weather system. That's how I persevered through it. And that's what I would advise to anybody, regardless of your external circumstances or environment.
We're going to go to Jason next, but before we do, I want to say hello